And leading the petition to have Dr. Chihombori-Quao reinstated as AU ambassador to the United States is Professor Apollos Nwauwa of the Bowling Green State University in Ohio in the United States. He's also the secretary of the African Diaspora Union. He joins us now via Skype from Bowling City. Professor Nwauwa, thank you so much for joining us and a warm welcome to the Globe.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take us through what the explanation is, if at all, with regards to the sacking of Chihombori-Quao.
There was no explanation. That is exactly what is more disturbing. The explanation given, if we have to go by the letter of termination, it does not say anything about the reason why she was terminated. We do agree that, we can contest it. Authorities have powers to hire and fire people. But when you rip somebody right off when the person is at the prime of doing what you assign the person to do, then it raises a number of questions. I think that is where and why her sacking is raising a lot of doubt. Thank you.
So has the African Diaspora Union engaged Chairperson Musa Faki Mahamat and by extension the African Union to get their side of the story before the union embarked on this petition?
I think on the strength of the letter that he sent out, it was on the strength of that letter, and also based on some other research that was conducted, that shortly before she was fired, we know that the French President Macron was with him, just a couple of months or so before Chihombori was fired. So on that basis, one can do that there's some kind of connection between that. Because there was no explanation sometimes, and she was not even summoned to come back for consultation in Addis Ababa or for some explanation, at least as we would expect of somebody of that caliber. But nothing. And all we heard or we saw was a letter of termination, which says nothing, which gave no reason.
So have you been in touch with her, and how is she reacting to this?
Yes, we've been in touch with her, and I think she is taking it in stride. In fact, I have to state that she is not even pushing to get back there, but we are pushing because we know her. We have seen how she has sensitized the entire diaspora. In fact, many of us who didn't know much about the AU I've known AU because of her, through her, because she has reached everywhere, every nook and corners of the United States and the Americas. She's been there and been there speaking for AU and, in fact, sensitizing and mobilizing all the diasporans. In fact, it's got to a point where many of us are beginning to decide to come to Africa and do something. But then to cut her just off guard this way is something that is really very disturbing. So she's taking it in stride. I mean, this is a medical doctor. She has a lot of, it's not about her. It is about the continent. It is about Africa. It is about the diaspora. So this is not a personal battle for her because she's well, she's fine. But we are asking for her reinstatement because she is somebody who's getting things done.
And speaking of getting things done, I mean, she minced no words since she took up the AU job and constantly denouncing the European colonial masters or powers for having exploiting African resources. So, some political pundits often opine that this is a means of stifling her. So what does this tell you, if it is, what does it tell you about the independence of the African Union in general?
Well, we know that, as a scholar, I do know that the question of neocolonialism is very, very much alive and very much with us, no matter how we want to pretend. If you look at Africa as a whole, look at the countries, you see that, right from 1960, puppets have been placed in power. Puppets always, either they run to Paris, they run to London, they run to the European metropolis to to more or less to take a directive from their masters. And when they come home, what they implement is not necessarily what the Africans want, but in fact what has been ordered or prescribed by the colonial masters. And we know it's been with us for quite some time. Only a few leaders, only a few ambassadors, only a few diplomats are really are ready to speak the truth to power and say this got to stop. And Dr. Arekana remains one of those diplomats who can tell the truth, tell exactly how it is. I know that diplomats think that their job is to just go there and whitewash things and just, gloss over them as if there is no problem, nothing at all. But she is not that kind of diplomat. She's a diplomat who is an activist at the same time. It's a rare combination, and Africa needs more of her than just to cut her short.
Let's talk about her advocacy for stronger cooperation between Africans living in the diaspora and the continent at large. To what extent did such advocacy stretch?
Could you repeat that again, please?
I wanted to discuss the advocacy for stronger cooperation between African people living in the diaspora and the continent at large. So to what extent or on what strength did that particular cooperation or advocacy go?
Okay, I think that is why, you'll be amazed. That's why people should be amazed that right now we have over 25,000 petitions signed within 2 days. And that tells you the kind of awareness that Dr. Arekana has created among Africans in diaspora. She has, from the beginning, at every forum she goes, it is about Africa. She's so passionate about it, and she tells us exactly the kind of things we want to hear about, how the practical steps we can take to giving back to Africa. Most of us who are in the diaspora are looking for ways to do so. We've had a number of AU representatives and ambassadors who came here. Many of them, we didn't know who they were. They never connected with the community of diasporans here. But Arekana did. And I think, if anything, the AU headquarters should have at least taken into consideration that this woman is the type of lady we need, the type of diplomat we need here, who will make that connection, who will be that bridge, who will foster that kind of connection between the continent and the diaspora community. But no, they are actually burning that down because we are getting excited only at the point where they just cut it short. And the point now is, who knows, whoever they send here, if they don't reinstate her, we hope they do, but whoever they send back here, what level of cooperation do you think that person is going to get with the Africans in diaspora here? That's a dangerous thing. That is the most important question that they are not even willing to face in Addis Ababa.
Well, we certainly hope, Professor, that the African Union will give us all the answers. But thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated. That was Professor Apollos Nwauwa of the Bowling Green State University in Ohio in the United States. He's also the Secretary of the African Diaspora Union, and he just joined us via Skype.